In the beautiful woods of Plym Bridge, just outside of Plymouth in Devon, there are majestic trees considered to be over 200 years old. Towering into the sky above, these trees lie in the vicinity of the trackbed of the old Plymouth to Launceston railway line. And like we humans, these almost ageless living things would have been around to see the beginning and the end of the Plymouth to Launceston steam railway. Whilst the Plymouth to Tavistock section of line opened under the name of South Devon and Tavistock Railway on the 21st of June 1859, the full 34-mile journey from Plymouth to Launceston followed some 6 years later. In 1865, on July the 1st, a special train hauled by South Devon Railway Hawk-class engines departed from Old Millbay station in Plymouth, Devon on a maiden voyage to Launceston in Cornwall. Picking up another coach at Tavistock, the pioneer train hauled its way into Launceston, where it arrived in the pouring rain to enthusiastic celebrations. Thus, the Launceston and South Devon Railway was formally launched at a time when steam transportation was of a modern age, and every boy's dream was to become an engine driver. From its beginnings in 1865 to its demise in 1962, this branch line served the Devon area for 103 years. Linking Plymouth, Tavistock and Launceston as busy West Country towns, transporting passengers and freight through some of the most beautiful countryside and moorland in England. During its 103-year existence, the stations served by this greatly missed line assisted towns and villages with much-needed transportation and freight conveyance. From Yelverton, it was even possible to travel into the very heart of Dartmoor by steam train, after climbing the hills and tors to reach one of the highest stations in England, namely Princetown. There are many stories and tales to tell of the line since its beginnings in 1865, stories rich with characters and events that have become legendary. Books have been written, and locals and enthusiasts still remember with great affection the locomotives and the stations and halts served during its 103-year history. Sad though the demise of the line proved to be, there are today in 1995 rumblings of revivals of steam. The Launceston Steam Railway is already in existence, and as we shall see later, the Plym Valley section of line is undergoing a welcome resurrection, an exciting prospect for the future. Today in 1995, the thought of the gentle journey on a steam-hauled train from Plymouth to Launceston on the fringes of the great National Park of Dartmoor invokes many nostalgic memories, particularly of those who remember the line with great affection. Some 5 miles of the old trackbed are preserved today, with walkways and cycle tracks where ramblers and cyclists regularly take in the clear country air. In the quiet settings of these country walkways, it seems hard to imagine the regular sound of the pistons and smell of the smoke as the 3:10 p.m. from Plymouth thundered by in all its magnificence. The modern history of this line is indeed fascinating. On the 1st of January 1948, all railways in the UK were nationalised by the ruling Labour government, although many felt that this had already been accomplished during 1944, when the Big Four railway networks worked together effectively to enhance the movement of troops for D-Day. The motorcar gained popularity, and the availability of road fuel increased, and coupled with the nationalisation programme, this spelt the death knell for the Plymouth to Launceston line. On the 5th of March 1956, the branch line from Yelverton to Princetown was closed to all traffic, and whilst this was not due to the authoritative acts of the famous Dr. Beeching, who came in power in 1962, the closure of the Plymouth to Launceston line nevertheless drew ever closer. Despite protests and pleas from the supporters of the line, the British Transport Commission issued a statement in January of 1962.
The Commission have no alternative but to submit to the South West Transport Users Consultative Committee for their consideration a proposal to withdraw the passenger train service between Plymouth, Tavistock South and Launceston, withdraw parcel facilities from Marsh Mills, Tavistock South and Lydford, withdraw freight facilities from Coryton, Siding and close the line for all purposes between Marsh Mills, Tavistock South and Launceston.
The story of the closure of the line became a legend, as some of the last scheduled trains failed to reach their destinations due to a severe blizzard in the Dartmoor area. A rescue plan had to be actioned to recover trains and passengers at Bickleigh and Tavistock South. So, 103 years after its jubilant launch and in dramatic style, the Plymouth to Launceston service ceased, leaving only trackbed and walkways on the path to remind us of how things used to be. Fortunately, however, it's not just the walkways that hold nostalgic memories of steam days on the line. Plymouth amateur cinematographer Reg Blackett took 16mm film in the 1960s, capturing images of many parts of the line with its engines and rolling stock. He even filmed part of the last journey on that legendary day in December of 1962. Whilst the images are not consecutive on our journey into the past and feature different trains at different times, they nevertheless capture the magic days of steam on the Plymouth to Launceston line and Yelverton to Princetown. In the 1960s, from Plymouth North Road Station, the train headed towards Tavistock Junction, passing Lyra engine sheds. By this time, Mutley, Lipson Vale and Lyra Halt stations had been closed to passengers. As the train left the main line at Tavistock Junction, the first of the stations on the branch line was Marsh Mills, where it passed under 2 limestone bridges, still in existence today, carrying road traffic from the Marsh Mills roundabout into Plympton, a suburb of Plymouth. The old station is still visible and is used today as a public walkway and cycleway. China clay goods traffic still passes through, and since the closure of the branch line in 1962, a level crossing has been added to the north of the station. This can still be seen today. A little way up the line is the Plym Valley Railway Company, who have recently acquired a charter to reopen the line between Marsh Mills and Plym Bridge, with future sites on Bickleigh. As will be seen later on in the film, steam is already poised to make a welcome comeback on this stretch of line. Old Marsh Mills Station, although a branch line, had the distinction of having a 32-frame lever signal box to control the traffic from Tavistock Junction. And in 1939, with the outbreak of World War II, a new government complex was opened nearby, necessitating the construction of a new siding to Coryton.